there, YouTube? It is Charles here. I'm going to do something different for this comic book review. I am going to review not one, but two comics in this video, both from a new comic book company that I've been really impressed with. That is Ignition Press, and the books are Bloodland, #1, and Ripcord, #1. Ignition Press, like I said, they're new. I believe they started in 2025. Maybe late 2024, and the first book I read with theirs was Deluge. Really enjoying that series. I think it's going to wrap up here within the next 1 or 2 issues. And with me, when I discover a new company, if a book is very good, you kind of build up a little bit of trust and brand recognition. So I was really excited to try out these #1s from the previews of them, and I was not sure if I was going to dig them or not. But like I said, they have built up some reputation points with me, so I gave it a chance, and I was pleasantly surprised by both. Bloodland is one of those books that when you read it, there were moments where I turned the page, at least 3 moments, where I turn the page and I see something that made my jaw drop and that really shocked me and hit me in a visceral level. What it is a story of vampires have infiltrated government and have taken over the government. The president's a vampire, and they are slowly destroying humanity. And it's almost like a post-apocalyptic action horror thing. And it throws you right into the story here. You get to see the president, and his staff landing and them talking about, and I like the way that they start. Usually I like some kind of preamble, but the way they start with this cold opening, dropping you into this world, they let the exposition is done through the narrative and through the writing, and you slowly realize what is going on as the book proceeds. And so you see, like right here, we cut from this seemingly normal, the president, he's landing on Air Force One, talking with his advisors. I'm not going to give you spoilers about what they're saying, what they're doing, because I think this is a book you don't want spoilers on, but you turn the page here, and here's a very powerful image. You see a picture of the White House surrounded by barbed wire with pictures of the president on either side covered in blood, and some kind of paramilitary force looking like they are guarding the White House. Scenes that are kind of reflective of things that are going on today. And we meet one of our protagonists who is just giving birth. And she's, probably not quite sure what's going on. And we find out that the hospital she's in is not quite what you expected. And we also find out that there's resistance fighters to this vampire takeover who are just as brutal as the vampires. And when they get into the action, it is visceral, bloody, and shocking. A lot of the characters are really colorful. They have a lot of personality. There's not a wasted character in this. Even the characters that would usually be throwaway characters, they have a little backstory and lore of who they are, why they are the way that they are, and why they're doing what they are doing. And so it is a very well put together book. This #1 issue was thick, but it was still a very fast read. And it's one that I am definitely gonna keep reading. I'm definitely gonna get #2, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. And from Ignition Press this month, we have Deluge #3. I already got that, read it, loved it. Arcadia, number 2 is coming out. Of course, Bloodland. Murder Podcast, number 4, haven't been reading it. The Beauty, number 3, and the trade paperback of the first series of The Beauty is out, and one called No Place, that's coming out, number 3 this month, and so, they're really getting things going. I haven't read a lot from them, like I said, 3 books, but 3 books that I really, really, really enjoyed. With some of these smaller companies, you might see some stumbling out of the gate, but not with Ignition Press. They have very good quality control, great writers, and a lot of original concepts. So next we're going to go to Ripcord. Now this was a fast read as well. Again, because it is mostly action and a lot of pictures. It takes place in Australia, and we meet our main protagonist, who you find out, again, they do a great job of giving you the backstory without giving you a preamble. You get to see her, and while she is alone in the Australian desert, she is clearly on a mission, and you will notice that she is, while feminine, very bulky, very athletic. Looks like somebody who has definitely lived through some things, and who is built for this Australian desert. And she wanders into a bar, and you find out that she's looking for her sister. And even, the way that the character is drawn here, you look at this character, the cut-off t-shirts, the green army-type pants, the way she stands, the way that she assesses everything and takes note of everything in the scene, you can tell that she has a military background and is not going to be trifled with. And I'm not going to tell you too much of the plot points again, because I think that would be ruining the story for you, but we get to know her through the way that she responds to the chauvinist that she runs into. She runs into a biker gang, and they end up giving her a little brief, which leads to some incredibly fun action, bloody action, and it is just, if I was to compare this to something, it is like she is a female Rambo type character. She's on a mission and she will not be dissuaded, and she has a particular set of skills that, while she does not want to hurt or kill, if she is forced to that point, she will definitely not hesitate. And I like the art style. We have a lot of pink and red and army green that really kind of sucks you in. And it's consistent. It's a consistent world. When I was reading this book, like I said, everything else around me just disappeared because I was captivated by this character, her actions, and getting to know her. And narratively, we don't get too much more information. We know that she is a soldier, has a missing sister, and she is very, very handy. Let's just say that. I'm looking forward to number 2. I like the fact as well that while they do leave a lot of mystery, they leave you enough to where you really, really want to know more about this character. I think what they don't tell you, for me, is the draw to the character, is I want to know more about her. I want to know about her history, her background, how she learned to be such a badass. What happened to her sister? When did her sister go missing? They did a great job of giving you just enough to hold your interest, but really, really want more. And by the time I got to the last page, I was upset. Not because I felt ripped off, but because I wanted more of this story. So Ripcord, number 1, get it at local comic book stores, and also get Bloodland while you're at it. If you are a fan of action and tension and visceral violence. These are both great books, but they also have a lot of deeper thought and intent, and a lot of intention put behind the writing. I cannot recommend Bloodland and Ripcord enough, both from Admission Press, a comic book company that I am definitely going to be keeping an eye on in 2026. So thank you for watching. If you've read any of these books from Admission Press, let me know in the comments what you think. What is your favorite Admission Press book? If you haven't heard of them, check them out. And if there's any other smaller companies that you think I need to get hip to, let me know, because I'm always looking for something more to read, to add to my collection, and to get into. So I'll see you guys next time. Until then, keep reading them books. You know I will. I'm out.